Hey Alice,
Hey.
so my name is Alex and I'll be your philosopher today. Um, I was wondering if you have a subject in mind or a question that you would like to
Yes.
discuss. Yeah?
Yes. I have a
And do you have this? Go
yes.
ahead.
I have a 3-year-old son, and I wonder how to prepare him for the bad things, or how to tell him about the bad things that happen in the world.
So how to prepare, how does this sound? Like how to prepare my 3-year-old kid for the bad things in the world?
Yes. Okay.
Can you repeat the question to me just to make sure that this is your question?
How do I prepare my 3-year-old kid for the bad in the world?
Why do you ask this question?
What do you mean? Why do I ask it?
What is the reason for you asking this question?
I think it's a part of my responsibility as a parent, and
What is part of your responsibility?
to explain to my son everything that this world is about.
To explain, but I asked you why do you ask this question and not another question? And you answered me to explain to your child. But I'm wondering what is your internal motivation for asking this question?
Well, I guess answered you. Like, my internal
So,
motivation is that I want to be a good mother and prepare my child.
so you want to be a good mother
Hmm.
who teaches her kid about the bad things in the world. Um, why do you want to be a good mother?
Because I love my son.
So you love your son, so a son should have a good mother.
Hmm.
Well, of course, you love your son, otherwise you wouldn't be a good mother. What attributes fall under being a good mother except loving your child?
What other attributes?
Yeah,
Um, Enabling education.
enabling. And how do you do that?
How do you enable education?
Yes.
Mhm. By exposing to experiences, by explaining consequences of actions, showing consequences of actions.
Okay, so by enabling education, you can prepare your child for the bad in the world.
Sorry, can
Is
you
this
repeat?
how is enabling education related to preparing your child for the bad in the world, the badness?
Do you think it's a connection?
Well, I'm asking you if, we arrived at this point where you want to enable education, and I was wondering if it's related or how it is related to your initial question.
But you asked me how is it related. So you impose that there is a relation. So you think it is a relation. You didn't ask me if I believe there is a relation. You asked me what is the relation.
Well, could there be a relation between the two? Is it possible?
Between enabling education and
And
explaining, preparing for the
yeah,
yeah.
yes.
Yes, I think there can be a connection.
Can you give me an example how these two are related?
Well, enabling education means understanding how the world functions and finding your way, your best way to react or to show yourself, to
Wait, wait.
exercise your identity. And by
Okay, okay. Can I ask you to give me the simple answer? Like imagine I'm your child and explain it to
what
me.
does it mean? A simple answer. My child doesn't ask me about the connection between
Let's
enabling education and the bad.
let's say he did. How old is he?
He's 3 years old.
Okay, let's say he were older and he would ask you, "Mommy, why do you want me to why what is the relation between my education and the bad in the world?" Maybe he noticed it something. How would you say it to him?
Well, the bad in the world is part of the world, and as a part of the world, our education means to understand the world. So bad is part of the world. We have to understand this part too.
Okay, and then have you found a different, better method of preparing your child other than education?
Other method. Hmm. Well, it depends what you mean by education, because like exposing or finding experiences, exposing him to experiences is still a way
Okay,
of
so
educating.
wait a minute. So you say it depends, and then there's education. Now you say exposure to
Yes.
events, right?
Hmm.
Okay, and do you expose your child to events?
Yes.
How?
We go out, we see things happening, we travel,
Do you
we
expose
find.
him to bad events?
Oh, well, I didn't search for bad events to expose him, but he was exposed. Yes, he saw a pigeon dying, for example, because we went outside in the world and we saw what there was to see.
But you have nothing against this. Like, let's say we would have a choice of exposing him to something bad or not exposing him to it. What would you do?
Well, I decided that it's better to expose him in small amounts, but to expose him.
Wait, how is that in small amounts? Per specific case or in general? You mean in small amounts in
Yes.
general
I,
or
I, I mean,
per,
I will
let's
not
say,
show him scenes from the Ukrainian war. It means I will show, I will be okay for him to see a pigeon. Not okay, but that I think it's necessary.
what's the what's the difference between seeing a pigeon dying and seeing the Ukraine war?
The most important difference, I think, it's the intention of evil, of
The
the action.
intention.
Let's not categorize it, but yes,
So
it's
the
the intention of
Ukrainian, that is intentional evil or bad, while pigeon dying is just natural bad.
it.
So intentional evil is something you would not expose your child to.
Yeah, not yet, but I wonder.
Not yet. When?
Well, there was this attack in Texas, and all.
No, no, no. Wait, wait, wait. When will you expose your child to intentional evil?
Well, I don't know. I don't have the answer to this.
But you plan on doing it at some point.
I consider it, yes.
And what do you think is would be the right age?
I have no idea, but as I was saying, I've heard that in France they prepare kindergarten children to terrorist attacks. Well, this is a
They
way of
prepare.
exposing.
Okay. So depending on what depends, you showing your child some intentional evil.
I don't know. I don't know how to decide what it's good
But
or
do you
bad
think
for
it,
them.
do you think it will happen at one point with him?
Yes.
And will it be out of your control, or do you want to do it to show him?
I hope he will not be forced to see anything.
Have you ever been exposed to intentional evil? You yourself?
Not directly. I guess no.
No. How do you know to recognize it when you see it?
If it's intentional or not.
Yes.
I guess this can change, what
What
it's
can change?
intentional or not, or what it's
What?
evil or not.
Well, that's how I'm trying to see if there is some degree of difference between intentional evil and non-intentional or natural evil that you could willingly or unwillingly expose the child to. Just so I give you part of my reasoning for this. So I'm thinking to ask you, how do you know what is good and what is not good to expose your child to?
The biggest dilemma is how to expose yeah, means also explaining or telling about it, showing a picture, maybe not
Make
taking
aware,
the
make
path,
aware of.
making aware of. It's
Yeah.
the evil that can happen to him, because if it's what's evil or not, it's debatable, but it's an evil that can happen to him, and I cannot explain the direct root of that evil to my child. What's the connection between him
Wait,
and what's
wait.
happening to him?
I don't think I understand that, but I wanted to ask you whether do you, as a last question, because we're reaching our 15-minute mark, whether do you think you have some evil in you that you're not aware of?
Yes,
Yes,
I guess I do.
you do. Was that such a sure yes? Why do you think so?
I saw myself showing anger that I didn't believe I'm capable of. So
Oh, out of like experience, you observed yourself,
I observed myself, yes.
and that surprised you.
Yes.
How did you react?
When I was angry or after that?
After. What did you say to yourself?
Well, I analyzed myself and I wanted to understand myself better.
How?
Well, I wanted to see the root of that. And
And did you find the root?
well, yes, one time I realized a very deep root of selfishness.
And how did you reach that conclusion?
Well,
I don't need to know the specifics, just the mechanism.
uh, what made me so angry? What I was I afraid to lose?
Oh, so you ask yourself this question.
Mm-hmm.
what you are afraid to lose, and then you reach the idea that you are selfish.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and are you still selfish?
Yes.
Yes? You think you're teaching this to your child?
I'm for sure.
You are?
For sure, I'm teaching this also. Yes. I'm trying to teach generosity, but he sees what I see every day. I'm not going every day to give warm meals to people on the street. I go to work to make money so he can have ice cream. So this is
Yeah, because either you
selfishness.
can, yeah, you can tell him to be generous, but if you're not like an example of generosity, then this is what you're saying, no?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there are degrees also of
So are you
selfishness.
are you content with that idea that you're teaching your child selfishness?
Yeah, I'm very content.
No, you're being ironic, right?
No, but I'm aware.
You are aware.
Yes.
And what do you do against it?
But why do you think I want to do something against it?
So you don't. You want to teach your child selfishness.
No, I just asked you, why do you think I want to do something?
Come on. Come on, answer my questions, please. Do you want to do something for your child so he doesn't become selfish like you?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Why was it? Was this hard to say?
That I want to do something?
Yeah. No. And
Maybe a little, yes. Because I feel
yes.
like I could do more, yeah.
Mm, you could do. Yeah. Well, usually selfish people try to do more or have more. This was a little joke. Um. So why was it hard to admit?
Because I believe generosity it's an important value. I want to be a generous person.
You believe it.
Excuse me?
You said you believe in generosity. Is that what you
Yes,
said?
yes.
Do you
I said
practice?
I believe it's an important value. Yeah.
Alex, you approach to the end, okay?
Okay. So for you, generosity is an important value.
Hmm.
Um, would you say it's the most important?
No, I
What
wouldn't
is the
say.
most important? What is more important than generosity?
Kindness.
Kindness. Being generous is kind in a way, so they are like and then being selfish. What is that? Is it a value for you?
Being selfish.
Yes.
Not a value.
How would you qualify it?
It's a mechanism.
It's a mechanism. Mechanism for what?
Preserving, surviving.
Surviving.
Hmm.
And generosity is in what way related to surviving, if it is?
Uh, we are social beings and we can live together. We can survive and
Can you give me
survive happily
through
together.
maybe
So
wait a second through one concept,
mhm.
one concept which unifies what you said right now. How is generosity related to survival?
It provides connection with other people, and connection
Okay,
is important for survival.
okay. I wanted to ask you if you what did you think about this dialogue?
Challenging,
Challenging.
yes.
In which way?
It was a surprise for me, the direction of your questions.
The direction?
Yes, yes. The way you, from where we started, I wouldn't have believed that you will go and stay so long on selfishness, for example.
So what did you find out something new in this 15 minutes?
Yes, that I'm not doing enough for my generosity value. I could do more.
What do you think of that? That it's a value, but you don't do enough.
Well,
How do you call yourself? Or how do you call someone who believes in a value but doesn't do it?
not very organized.
That's a nice way of putting it. Yeah, not very organized. So I propose we conclude here. Luca, was this enough?
Yes. Yes. Good. We stop here. Alice, if you want, you can stay. Now we discuss, we take 5 minutes or maybe less to review a little bit what you did. Alex, I let you 1 or 2 minutes to tell me or to make a self-assessment of it. So tell me what you
Yes.
think it was positive in the process, what you think it was not working well.
I think I had a very slow, sluggish start. Um, just trying to find a way in, especially since Alice was trying to give me depends and stories and examples, and I was trying to latch on to something, and I was trying to find out what is important for her. But I think I got lost at a few moments, and I restarted. Um, I restarted my approach, and only in the second half, towards the end, I think I made some progress, especially since staying on that selfishness thing, which clearly would make anyone uncomfortable, I think. Um, and yeah, one of my thoughts in this always is to it's a trick to try and make the other one uncomfortable. Like if you make this connection through the uncomfortableness, you know you're getting somewhere. So I think I was rusty at the beginning, but I was slowly. This is always how I start. I'm inert, or yeah, like inert without practice, and then I start
Yeah.
getting active.
Yeah, okay. So it's well, there is something that I saw as well. So one of these things on that didn't work well. It was at the beginning. The first part is that you lost her. You were about to lose Alice the first few minutes, and
Yes.
it was yeah, it's a little bit disconnected. She was not really understanding what you were asking, and
Yeah.
it looked like that you were not catching on the ideas that she was proposing. For instance, one where she says that what was the interest of the question? She said, "Well, I want to be a responsible parent." Then you asked again. Well, then when she said, "I want to be a good mother," what you catch that part. You start
The
that she
yeah,
said
that ambition.
yeah, she was already saying responsibility. And so you didn't work on this idea of responsibility, for instance. You missed an opportunity there because, I don't know, you were not available. You were not reactive on this. Another thing, if we stay on the opportunity that you missed, she proposed example about the pigeon, for instance. She started to say about situations that she wants or she tries to expose the child to experiences. Then you had an opportunity to go to the concrete, and you remained in the abstract looping and bouncing from one concept to another, but in a rather abstract way. Uh, then okay, it's if we go now for a while on the good things, it was at the beginning. The beginning, she didn't come with a question, but you made you accompanied her to formulate a question. It was good. But on your first question, what's the interest of it? She didn't get it, and you rephrase it. And that's good that you are able to rephrase to ask the same if a person doesn't understand. So that's another good quality. When you're asking for attributes, so good mom, what are the attributes in order to make it a little bit concrete? So it's a good way to give a substance to something. Then, in a way, you managed to make her think because she was surprised. At the beginning, she was a little bit lost. But then, thanks to your questions, she started to think and to wonder about things that well, she would never think about. And you arrived to this idea of selfishness that actually was good because you made a turn. She wants to prevent or to prepare the child for the bad in the world, but then you go, okay, what about the bad that is in the house? And that was interesting turn, switch. And you found this feature that, of course, Alice probably is aware of this idea of selfishness, and you work on this. What about to prepare your child for the selfishness because he's constantly exposed to selfishness. So that was a good switch. The second part was more efficient, the process. Then, there was this idea, if we stay on the things that you didn't grasp or you didn't go for it, it was quite obvious that she wants to protect the child. It's rather common with moms, especially with small kids. They want them to stay in a crystal bubble, protected, no evil, no bad in the world. Well, that was another good chance to propose this idea and to nail this attitude. That's why on the work on the attitude, it was not really there. It was more, yes, about the selfishness, but it was not performative. It was an idea. Okay, yes, it's there because she admits, because she brings it. So, another good thing is at the end that you take the opportunity to work also in the last part with the feedbacks. When she gives a feedback, then you work on it and you take the opportunity to think more and to challenge this conclusion. There's a conclusion, okay, but let's challenge more this conclusion. So these are the main things that I noticed.
Thank you.
Good. So if you want to stay, Alice and Alex, you're welcome. Otherwise, we go to Wasim and Yamini.
Thank you.
And I need a little break, a short one, couple of minutes, technical break, and then we continue, okay? Yamini, in the meantime, as said in the email, if you want to use a Google Doc, you prepare it. Otherwise, we don't use. And we go, okay? I come back in.
Good to see you, Luca.
Ciao, Wasim.
How are you?
I'm good. Coming in short.
Yeah, see you in a bit.
Hello, Waseem. I'm Yamini.
Oh, hi, Yamini. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks. Where are you calling from?
India.
It must be late night for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 10 o'clock. Where are you from?
I'm Palestinian, but I'm calling from Philadelphia, the US.
It's great.
Okay, here we go. So, Wasim, I'm very happy to see you again because it's almost 10 years.
Same here, my friend. Long
Almost
time.
10 years.
Long time.
Yes, yes. That was La Chapelle 9 years ago, 10 years ago.
Yes, La Chapelle. We met in Paris after that, after a couple of
Yes.
days. So it was in 2016.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So not 10 years ago, but 7.
Yeah, 2016 or 15. Yeah, anyway, we're old. We're getting old, man.
Yeah, yes, that's true. Okay, but let's go to the job. And now you will have Yamini 15 minutes consultation with Wasim. In short, I will let you drive, so I will mute myself. I don't know if you have questions before we start. General questions on the process. I don't mean philosophical work. You good?
Yes, and we do it independently of you, right? You will observe.
Yeah, I will observe. Yes. Okay. So, Yamini, on you now.
Thank you. So, hello, Waseem. Do you have any question for the
Hi, Yamini.
consultation?
Yes, thank you for having me. Yes, I have a question. And my question is, how should I approach my new job?
How should I approach my new job?
Correct.
How do you want to approach your new job?
It's still vague. That's why the question is important for me.
I understand, but what is your intention towards your job? How would you like to approach it?
In a way that helps me to bring the best version of me professionally.
Your best version. So, why how do you think that when you approach your job, your best version will come out?
Sorry, just to make sure that I get your question correctly, you asked how do I think approaching it. Sorry, like the voice cut a little bit, so I couldn't hear you well.
Yeah, let me reformulate the question. That in what way you think that your best version will come out in your job?
In a way where I have the right environment and I have the right attitude.
Do you think that in any can you choose one of these, right environment and right attitude? What is the more dominant choice for your for the best version coming out?
It's hard for me to answer.
Yes, but you can try. What would be, you know, uh, a more dominant thing that would bring out a better version of you, best version of you, right environment or right attitude? Are you stuck?
Yes, because it's very hard for me to choose one over the other.
Okay. But is it possible that you can choose one for the moment, not in a hierarchy, but something you would like to talk about now?
Yes, sure. I'd like to talk about my attitude.
Your attitude. Okay, so tell me, do you find any problem or any difficulty in your attitude?
Yes.
Can you name it?
No, I can't.
I would insist, please try. Think about it. What is the difficulty you face in in becoming a better version? Is there an obstacle? Is there something that stops you? Or you yourself don't do?
I lose interest very easily, and when this happens, I don't bring my best. I don't sustain my best version long.
Okay, let me now propose something to you. You said that you want your best version to come out. Do you think that becoming best is little uh, extreme and in the path you exhaust yourself?
Um, sorry, Yamini, can you repeat that again, please? I couldn't hear again.
You mentioned earlier that you want to become the best version of yourself,
Right.
and becoming best is little extreme.
I
Eh,
disagree
Okay, can you tell me how?
because I think there is a bad version, and there is moderate version, and then there's the best version. Uh, so it's one of
Okay,
these three.
and you directly want to reach the best version.
Yes.
Yes, that is what I'm trying to say. That be, having a better version or being satisfied with where you are and is one thing, and the other is best, becoming the best, having a perfectionist idea of reaching at the top.
Yeah, but because this is a new job, so I can't start from the beginning. I don't have a version established yet where I need to get better at. So I would go directly to one of these versions.
Okay, let me ask you another question. That can you say this without starting the job? That what is expected of you?
You mean what is expected
Can
from
you?
me from this new job?
Yes, without starting this job, without being practically there, can you say that what version of you is needed there? It's possible it can be a lazy job. Your new job can be a lazy job.
I'm sorry, I'm not following.
Okay. So my question is that is it possible for you to say that without being present on your job, that you have to start? You can tell that what is expected of you
Like without being a job, what is expected from me?
without being present there, without being present in the moment.
You mean if I don't have a job at all, what is the best version of me, regardless of the new job?
I think that
I mean that when I start a job, I supervise and I learn that what I need to do.
You mean, I'm sorry, it keeps cutting off. I don't
yeah.
like it's intermittent.
Yeah, try again. I mean, well, try again because it's cutting also for me. Maybe it's a connection. Try again. Maybe then if it's cutting again, you remove the camera, you close the video. Try.
Okay. Okay, I'll ask another question. Am I audible now?
Yes. Now it's
Yeah.
fine. Okay. Well, you don't have to change question, but now it's fine. Go ahead.
Okay. So my question was that uh, without knowing the practicality of the situation, can we decide the attitude towards the situation? Do you understand me?
I understand like each word, but I'm not sure that I understand the question. So if this is the same question that you asked before, was it? Did you mean that regardless of the new job, what is the best attitude for me to bring my best version?
No, I mean that regarding this job only, without joining the job, can you tell that what attitude is the right one without joining, without being present there?
You mean for any employee who would join this company?
No, for you.
But why you're saying without joining the company? Because I am joining them.
Have you started the job?
I haven't. I'll start next week.
Okay. Let me change the question.
Mhm.
Let me change the question. Why do you think that you keep losing interest?
Because whenever I solve a problem or get a job done, I feel there is something more important to move on to. And if that doesn't happen, I lose interest.
So you find that there is always something more important than what you are working on.
Yes,
And why is it so difficult to concentrate on something?
because I feel that there is something more important that requires my attention.
Yes, but why do you think that the first thing is not important enough?
Because there's something more important.
But do you see that you're not answering my question?
I see.
I Yes. Can you try and answer my question? Why do you think that the first thing is not important enough?
Because something is more important than it. So, oh no. Okay, sorry, I'll take it back. Let me rephrase. It is important, but I lose interest because I feel there's something else that is more important. I'm not answering your question again.
I'll suggest you that think about that. What is the first thing lacking? Think about the first thing. I understand the second thing is important, but what is the obviously the first one? Which stay
The problem with it is that it's not very important anymore because there's something else that's more important. So the problem with it would be that it's not important enough.
Yamini,
because they
now
yes.
in 1 minute, you go to the conclusion, okay?
Okay, I have 1 minute left.
Yes, and then we conclude. Yeah.
Okay. So Waseem, do you have a feedback or something to say to me?
About the consultation, you mean, or?
Yes.
Well, yeah. First of all, thank you. You asked me tough questions, and I appreciate it. Yeah, that urged me to think. So yeah, that's good. At some point, I felt it was a little bit like a debate between us. Yeah, or maybe I don't know. Maybe it's internet communication could have, like, if the internet connection was better, maybe we could have used more time. But yeah,
Yes, I
thanks.
think that some questions could have been better formulated.
Sorry.
Some questions could have been better formulated.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, Luca, you can.
Okay, so we'll take a little bit of a few minutes for feedback right after the exercise. So you go first, you make a kind of a self-assessment. You tell me what you think it was okay, good, what you think it was a little bit problematic in the process. So and then I tell you main things that I noticed.
Can you repeat what did you say?
Yeah, if you can start with feedback with a self-assessment. What you did good,
Oh,
what you didn't.
I think that I started well. I started with questioning and confronting that what is going on and what is the intention behind uh, getting being the best. Uh, and first, I wanted to take the direction of perfectionism and uh, to question this attitude of perfectionism becoming the best version. But I think that those questions were either not related or they were not conveyed well. And second, I think that it the question still managed to confront him and make him think about his attitude basically and think more about it. Yes, I think that's what I understood. Yes.
Yeah. Can I
Yeah,
add something? Yeah, Yamini, I think, yeah, now I remember the specific example. I think at some point you told me best version is something extreme. So like you made a presumption there without confirming with me first, and at that point I was like, no, I disagree. So that like at that point, this is an example where it became like a debate. So I feel like you could have asked me, do you feel the best is something extreme, instead of making the assumption. But I look as the expert here. Maybe I don't know. Maybe this is the right approach. But correct
I
me.
think I I agree that I proposed this idea directly to you. I should have asked first. And the question I asked is being best version exhausting, and better than that could have been that if it is a little extreme, that might have been better to go a little slow.
Okay. The way I heard it was the best version is extreme. I couldn't hear the part in between.
Okay.
No, I
Yeah.
tried to connect the two ideas that you lose interest easily, and it is maybe because trying to get to the perfectionist idea is you never reach there,
Yeah.
and you get tired in between. So that is why I asked that it's exhausting for you or not.
Yeah, let me step in here. Yeah, because the idea, the connection you made, Yamini, there was good. Was an interesting connection, and Wasim was not thinking of that connection, and but it's not what it. It's not because of the connection of the internet connection. It's true that it was cutting, but the main one of the main problems were about your questions that were too complicated. You were brainy, a little bit brainy when you formulated the questions. That's why it was a little bit difficult for Wasim to follow. That's why in a certain moment you were losing him. When he said debate, then you were losing him because this assumption, this presupposition, but it was interesting. The connection was there, but the way you questioned, you you did not present the nice package. It was a little bit scattered. That's why there was this misunderstanding, if you want to say, but not the misunderstanding. That's why it didn't work. The gears were not working properly. And yeah, this is it's probably the main problem is this that you go for complicated things when there are much simpler questions that you can ask because it was good. For instance, a good thing that you did is at the beginning about the initial question to approach a new job, what qualities when you work on the qualities. That was a good idea. So a good about the intentions that Wasim wants to approach. But then, for instance, an easy question was, okay, what's your best quality? Since you are talking about quality. So that was an easy, simple question. And then it was good, for instance, when you asked him to choose between two ideas, between environment or attitude. That was a good move. I mean, you ask him to choose, you present two clear concepts, you are using his own concepts because he brought the concepts. Okay, then again, you were a little bit too complicated because he said, it's hard for me to choose. But stay simple. Why is it hard? That's very simple. You don't have to be brainy to complicate things. Okay, sometimes you can push. Can you make a choice? Well, but visibly, he could not. So stay on the simple level. Why is it hard? What's the difficulty here? Then, okay, then you managed to go on and you stayed on the attitude, for instance. You finally managed to do it. Another good thing, it was about the thought experiment. So you propose a scenario. Imagine that you have to get a job. What can be a good attitude to start a job with? Okay, that was you start to make the mental experiment, which is a tool. It's good. But then again, when you go to complicate, you made the question very complicated. And it was a very long question. And I got lost as well. Okay, then another good thing is that you noticed that he was not answering. He admitted it, but then you noticed that he is not answering. Okay. Then on the scheme, there was a scheme, the loop. At the end, you discovered the loop. You fell. You both of you fell in the loop of I'm not concentrating because there is something that is more important. And what happens there? Well, again, simple question. What is the most important thing for you? If there is always something more important, okay, tell me what is the more important. It is this thing. So you concretize a little bit. And then here the fourth, the suspect is that is ethereal, this most important thing. Because if it is always there, whatever you do, there is something more important, and you don't do the more important, it means that it's up in the air, it's a mystification of the future, something like that. And it was there floating in the air, and you did not nail that thing. You went in the loop for a few minutes. Okay, these are the main things that I noticed. So also for you, now we are waiting a little bit for the next philosopher. But yeah, we can discuss a little bit if you have questions, Yamini, in the meantime. Or you there? Can you hear us, Yamini?
No, thank you for the yes, yes. Can you hear me?
Okay, good. Yes, now yes.
And thank you for that this observation that that it's such a good way to concretize, to just ask that what is the most important thing for you. And I was actually stuck there.
Yeah.
I was thinking that what should I ask, and how this is a very simple and good move. It would have broken
Okay.
the loop.
Yeah.
Yes, and that in when you have more time in the consultations, sometimes it's better these issues they
No, now I don't understand. Now I lost you, Yamini. Okay. What? No, Yamini, now you are breaking. You're breaking. So, okay. Well, let's conclude here. And Yamini, if you want to stay, you stay. We take Megan now. So, Megan, you can come back. Can you hear us, Megan?
Yes.
You there?
Yes.
Okay, good. So we were commenting on Yamini's work, and now I will leave it on you in short. I don't know if you have questions, Megan. Megan, before you start. If you don't know,
So, so if we are starting, it's the client will ask me new question, or it will continue with Yamini's previous discussion.
Well, you will use the same question. So Waseem will propose the same question.
Yes.
But it will be a brand new consultation.
Okay.
So you start from the beginning.
Yes. Okay.
And
Yes.
you have 15 minutes. And after 15 minutes, well, I will tell you that we are almost there. You should stop. I will warn you 1 or 2 minutes before.
Yes.
And then we will have a brief, short feedback.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Good. So, stage is yours.
Okay. Hi. Good afternoon. Good evening. Good morning there.
Hi.
My name is Megan. Nice to meet you. What is your name?
Nice to meet you. I'm Waseem.
Waseem. Okay. So we are going to have talk. So I would like to know what is your question.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Megan. My question is, how should I approach my new job?
How should I approach my new job? Yes. So why this question is so important to you?
Because I'm starting a new job next week.
Mm-hmm.
I want it to be successful.
Oh, successful.
Yes.
What is successful for you?
Successful for me is to bring my best version, be promoted to a level partner after a few years.
Mm-hmm. Why? Mm, it sounds kind of rush if you are expecting that success in a few years, but actually you haven't started yet, right?
That's correct, but this is the expectation from me after talking to the founders of the company.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you have a very high expectation about your career.
I do.
Mm-hmm. So what is bothering you now?
It's not bothering me.
Mm-hmm. So because you have asked, you have a high expectation, and you start next week, but you still want to know how should I approach this new job.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there are something that's like what is it bothering you? That's because the job is certain, right?
The job is what? Sorry.
It's already certain. It's a certain job. You already got a job.
Yes.
Yes. So why you are still have this question?
Because it's a new job and I need to approach it. So I'm looking and thinking about the best way to approach it in order to to achieve the success there.
Mm-hmm. To achieve a success. Are you afraid of uncertainty?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So, do you only like ask this question when you get a new job, or you ask these questions when you are approaching something unknown?
I think it can be fit for both situations.
Mm-hmm. So, so your being is you are you're afraid of uncertainty if this is unknown situation.
I am concerned of uncertainty, and I'm starting a new job.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I don't see the connection between these two.
Mm-hmm.
That's and how they're related to the best approach for the new job.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So why do you want to be the best?
I don't think I said that I want to be the best.
Because you want to have the best version of a performance.
Yeah, I want to be the best version of myself, not the best.
You think you are not the best version of yourself right now?
I mean, my best version at the job, which I don't know if I'm the best version or not because I haven't started yet.
So who is the person defined you are the best version of yourself? Is you or your colleagues, your boss, or anyone else?
It's me.
So if now you think now you are the best version of yourself right now, do you?
Again, I don't know yet because I haven't started the job.
But you are the person defined.
Yes, but I would define it in my job when I start that job, and I can then ask my question: am I my best version at the job or not?
Mm-hmm. Interesting. How do you identify it when you started a job? How do you to categorize, like, if you are the best at a job or not?
Am I doing everything that I can, or am I being lazy?
Oh, okay. So what is the key triggers make you lazy at work?
Losing interest.
Losing interest. So if you're losing the interest, can you be the best version of yourself at work?
No.
So so you are not sure if you will be interested in this job or not, or you have other concern?
You're right. I'm concerned that I might not be interested as much as I expect to.
So what is the emotion behind?
What is the emotion behind what? Sorry.
You are afraid of disappointment, or you are afraid of this is too boring, or any other effect on you?
Of losing interest or not having the expectations of the job? Which?
Yes, you can choose. Yeah, I want to know what is make you ask this question.
These are two questions. Which one of me do you want me to answer?
Yes, you're right. So your major concern is you are afraid, no, you're thinking if this job will make you disappointed. Oh.
Yes.
So what if you are disappointed at this job?
I'll need to look for another job, which has been not a fun experience.
You're looking for different experience? Sorry, I didn't hear clearly.
If I'm disappointed with this new job, that means that I need to look for a new job. And in order to look for a new job, this is something that I want to avoid.
Because you want to avoid disappointment, so you have to change to another job.
No.
I mean, when you feel disappointed, you will look for another job.
Yes.
Yes. What if the another job give you another disappointment?
Then I'll need to look for another job until I find something that I like.
So is this your first time, or you have done this before?
This work in a job or look for a new job, you mean? Or being disappointed in a job and move. So can I explain what do you mean by this?
When you feel disappointed at this job and you look for another job.
Yes, I was disappointed in my last job, and that's why I looked for a new job.
Is this apply only at your work, or this is happen in other aspects of your life?
By this, you mean if I'm disappointed with something, I look for something else?
Mm-hmm.
Not only with job,
Mm-hmm.
with other things as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm. So, for example, do you have cases?
Yes, with majors. So I studied something I
Mm-hmm.
didn't like, so I studied something else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And maybe your friendship or other, no.
No, I'm stable with my friendships.
Okay. So, at major and yes, and the career. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, have you seen anyone that never have a disappointment at a job before? Have you seen anybody? No disappointment at work at all.
No, I haven't.
Mm-hmm. So,
Actually, there is. Sorry, no, I don't. No, I haven't. Everyone is disappointed at their jobs at some point.
mm-hmm. And does everybody change their job when they feel disappointed?
No,
Mm, mm. So why do you have this tendency?
I dislike being bored.
Mm. Boredom.
Sorry.
Mm. You feel bored, then
Yeah.
mm, you first feel bored and you feel disappointed, or
No, I have been bored and disappointed before.
okay. Mm, mm, how do you call someone that feel bored, disappointed, and change career? How do you name this kind of person?
Bored.
Bored. Mm. Only bored? Maybe you feel bored and you want to change it.
Curious, uncertain.
Mm-hmm. Curious?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Uncertain. Mm-hmm. How about escape?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So, are you surprised with this discovery?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Um, do you like to be a escaper, or you don't like?
I don't.
You don't like. But you have been doing this several times.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it means you got some advantage from escaping.
I got some advantage.
Mm-hmm. From
Yes,
escaping.
I
Mm-hmm.
did.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So, uh-huh. So what are your three advantage of escape?
Megan,
You
wait a moment. Think about it. Yeah, Wasim. Then you go to the end. Okay, Megan, it's 1
Yes.
minute. Good.
Okay, 1 minute. Yes.
Do you want to change your question, Megan, or should I go ahead and answer this one?
Okay, then we change escape, advantage 1 and disadvantage 1. So you choose one advantage and one disadvantage.
So advantage would be intellectually challenging. Keep intellectually challenged, and the disadvantage would be not fully living the experience, not exhausting the field.
So, do you think you will be able to stay, how to say, to overcome the boredom in the coming job?
I could, yes.
Yes. Thank you for your time. I have no question.
Thank you, Megan, for your questions.
I was thinking to ask something sharp, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate the questions.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Okay, good. So Megan, we do a little bit of self-assessment. So you go first and you tell me what you think worked well and what didn't.
Yes, I think something worked is I noticed that the client was thinking. He's really involved, engaged with our dialogue. And I think something I didn't do well is I didn't throw clear question and not very sharp. And I did some thinking work for the client. I didn't let the client to think he's supposed to think the quantity.
Okay.
Yes, yes. And in the end, I supposed to wrap up finalize the question, but I didn't find the idea that why should I ask, like to make a client to think and stabilize his idea. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
But
Tell
but
me.
in general, it's okay.
No, if you want to say more things, go ahead. If you have something to add.
Yeah, I would like to listen clients' feedback also.
Okay, let's take Waseem as well. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So Megan, first of all, I think you moved me in directions. Like the conversation kept being moved, and it steered away from the main question. But I realized like it's only 15 minutes. It's a short time. But in spite of that, you made me move directions and think about the new things, and I did learn new things, specifically about the interest and like being interested in the job and the boredom and disappointment and all. So I learned new things. Yeah, I felt that sometimes you hesitated what to ask, but you have. I liked your questions. They made me think and move forward. At some point, I felt that you made an assumption. Like, yeah, you lacked some clarity. Or like you asked me, like, yeah, you open sometimes like keep open questions, like, what do you think about this? And this could refer to several meanings. So if you can just to clarify, be a little bit more specific about this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
That's
you.
in a nutshell.
Yeah, I would say that, there was a flow in the concept and discussion. So we were concatenate one to another. So that was quite a smooth flow, if you want to say so. So it was it made sense, the flow. It was with no big breaks or changes. I think that your questioning was generally clear. So it was clear questioning. It was a little bit maybe at the end when you merged, when you plugged together 2 or 3 questions, you were a little bit lost. But apart from that 1 or 2 minutes, the questions were clear, short, and yeah, so that was good. Also, the opening at the beginning, especially when you asked about the importance, you got some interesting idea about success, about being promoted, about being the best version of myself. So there were ideas that were coming up. But on the maybe the what didn't work well is that you did not deepen on these ideas. There were a lot of things were given to you, a lot of gifts, but then you didn't profit of those gifts. For
Yes.
instance, about this one was being promoted.
Yes.
The best version of myself. You went back at the end to this, but it was distant. It was the beginning. Then you take it at the end, and then Waseem was not said that no, I didn't say this, and then you repeated what he said 10 minutes before. So it was a little bit either you repeat, you start questioning again, or then you it's probable that you create some confusion there.
Because
And
yes.
now, wait a moment.
Yes, yes.
On this one, yeah, I know that you have a good intention for this, but that's what happened. Then there was something you had a nice insight, for instance, that he is in rush. It was a good intuition, but then it was not clear for Wasim. You have to
Yes.
tell him why,
Yes.
how you conclude that he was in rush. Well, but because he hasn't even started the job and he's thinking about a promotion. That's why
Yes.
he's in a rush. So, but you have to tell him because I know, I understand it's there, but then you have to make it evident also to the other person.
Yes.
And that was about insecurity or uncertainty. You mentioned uncertainty, and you were losing a little bit Wasim there, and he also asks you why, how is it connected with my question, this uncertainty business, and what that it was a little bit out of the blue. So
Yes.
might be good question, it might be connected, but it was a little bit forced there, this
Yes.
uncertainty thing.
Yes.
Then there was a very nice question, for instance, because you used a lot of tools of the practice and you were quite spot on. For instance, why do you think you are not the best version of yourself? That was a good one. But then, while Wasim was a little bit escaping, and you didn't notice, he was saying, well, and I'm speaking about the job, I didn't start the job yet, but yours was a general question. And so, are you the best version of yourself now? He wanted to go to the job. He didn't answer. He was escaping. What?
I didn't notice his resistance.
Yeah, there is a resistance. He's cheating. He was escaping. He was going away. He didn't want to answer.
Yes.
And then, then you started with complicated question, 2 questions merge in one question. That is when you went a little bit confusing. You were a little bit lost because he started to escape, to sneak out, and you didn't panic, but you were a little bit lost. And that's also the last thing. You did not work on the attitude. You were sharp questioning, but then since you don't work on the attitude and he's sneaking away, then you risk to make loops and disappointment, laziness, boredom, and you were just repeating the loop between boredom, disappointment, quitting the job, go for another job. It's a little bit go for simple questions. I just well, he said at a certain moment, I want to avoid looking for a new job. Well, but he's just did it. How come that he wants to avoid? What's the problem? So simple. Why? Why do you want to avoid looking for a new job? You just did it. What's the problem?
Yes.
Because very close, you were thinking, overthinking. Maybe it's where your comment about you were doing the job for him. Maybe it's there. Because there you were a little bit preoccupied with being efficient yourself, and you lost a little bit the big picture, what was in front of you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Does it make sense?
Yes, it makes sense. Yes.
Okay.
And in the beginning, I have seen that he is ambitious and he's very impatient. So I was thinking how to link then and give this idea to him. But
Yeah, okay, that is a good thing. But then ask him. You also notice at a certain moment you had a feeling that it was a quite fluffy question. The initial question was a little bit empty because he was looping. Actually, based on what he said, how do you have to approach the new job? Well, with enthusiasm, maybe that's he knows something that maybe he's wondering about it, but he knows how to do it. So you can ask to answer his own question, or maybe if it is a real question, at a certain moment there was a doubt. Is it a real question or maybe not?
Yes. So based on this question, I have seen his impatience. But I don't know how, based on his resistance, I don't know how to guide him back to the idea I want to ask.
Yeah, because you saw it, you noticed that there was a kind of a bluff in that question in the beginning, but then you didn't manage to see the bluff, to disclose it, to reveal it. But
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, this is something I need to work on.
Yeah, at a certain moment you were, we can say that you were a little bit naive. Because there was something you let him take you away from the point. So the tools, you have the questioning. A lot of questions were, okay, by the book. But then it was a little bit naive because you didn't see the frame, the big picture.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for the advice.
You're welcome. Something you want to add? Waseem, Megan, or Yamini as well, if you're listening to us.
No, from my end, all's clear.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Megan. Thank you, Luca.
Thank you.
And well, I think I will probably go to La Chapelle this year. So if you are joining, we will meet there.
Yes. I will see you there.
Okay. Ciao, Megan. Ciao, Wasim.
Bye,
See
bye.
you, everybody.
Ciao, Yamini.
Ciao, ciao. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.